The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup meeting. Today is, I'm just trying to think, there you go, 24th of August, 2020. Myself and John are your hosts. As we normally start, we start with updates and so on. There are no real big template updates, definitely none been released, but there has been a few changes to do with some of the internals of the wrappers, so I'll mention them in a second. What I do need to mention is there is no user group meeting next Monday. It's a public holiday in the UK. Last one really of the summer, last one of the year until the festive time, that is, Christmas and so on. So yeah, so there is no user group meeting. We're still over in France. We return back to the UK later this week, actually, in a couple of days' time. And the UK has imposed quarantine rules for people travelling from France and the Netherlands to the UK, which means I've actually got to go into quarantine for 14 days upon my return home, which is fine. So yes, basically, hopefully it will give me time to knuckle down and play catch up. It's okay having some time away on vacation, but it does hit the schedules a little. Okay, so I mentioned updates. We've been playing about with bits on the report control and so on, and I know Leo's here and he's going to want to know about drag and drop, and I haven't done anything at the moment, but I will do, as promised. One thing I have done, which, where is it? Let me just log on to the machine, and I'm going to release this. It might be Friday when I get back to the actual UK. It'll just be easier with the particular machine and so on and so forth. Even though I can't go into the office, I can get somebody to grab one of the machines from the office and bring it on. So what I'm going on about here is it's a change I've done earlier today regarding the QuickBooks interface. So it's part of the Chilkat. Won't be 1 second. Just going on to this. Okay, and we'll keep that time. That's fine. So one of the changes I did earlier today relating to QuickBooks, and if anybody is familiar with the QuickBooks interface, so if anybody is using that, and it is quite popular, believe it or not, you will notice when you go through their documentation. Let's just go on to one of their documents, okay? And you have an item here called MinorVersion. Now the latest one is version 53, and it's like any software. QuickBooks release new updates to their API, and they will go into a particular build. Now they call theirs minor versions and so on. So if we look at some particular attributes, what was I looking at? I was looking at customers and vendors at the same time, but I know the item in question is regarding customers. Okay, so I'll scroll down to the customer object. And we can see various different bits of information regarding this customer object, and certain properties, certain pieces of information have a minor version stamped next to them, which indicates basically when that was added to the API. Let me scroll down. I'm just trying to find a particular example. The one I was looking at was to do with tax IDs, primary tax ID, secondary tax ID. So it'll be a second just. No, okay, but we can see here that there's primary tax identifier. There we go. It's optional. Minor version 4. So that came in version 4, which meant if I did a query and I perform the query as, let's say, version 1, that information would not be returned to us. But if I did it as version 4, and or 4 or higher, I should say, then it would be returned to us. Now, the QuickBooks class uses pagination. That's one of the latest changes we've just done, so on and so forth. So you get all the results, but you only get the results as per the MinorVersion being queried, and that wasn't being passed, which meant you was really you weren't getting the full information. For example, the querying of the customer object wouldn't actually have those elements returned as part of the JSON, which meant it didn't go into a queue structure. In fact, the fields weren't actually in there. So what we've just done now is we've now introduced the MinorVersion. It will by default itself to the highest that it knows of. So at the moment, it will assign itself to version 53. You can change this. It's just a property on the class, so you can change it to whichever you like. So if you don't wish to keep up to date in the future, perfectly fine. It's a property. You can override it during the initialization and set it to, let's say in the future you're on QuickBooks interface and MinorVersion 60. Then you could set it to 60 and you would get the results of that 60. You might not get all the structure defined for you, because of course we do that as part of the class and the wrapper and so on. But you would be able to get to the data. That's the point I'm making. So on the QuickBooks, we have introduced, and we just go to the QuickBooks here. Oh, you can see some extra fields have been added. So this is the customer or the vendor. That's a vendor. Let me just jump up to the customer. So on the customer group, we've added a few more entities. So like business number, customer type reference, the GSTIN, accounts receivable reference and number, resale number, but basically the tax identifier. So basically from, I would say, from there onwards have been added. So they're part of the new structure. They will automatically be populated and they allow you to export as well. So that's in the new build. And as I mentioned, there is, if we look at the properties at the top, a new property called MinorVersion. That gets primed up to 53, which is the latest version automatically. So if you are using the QuickBooks interface or you're interested, but if you're definitely using it, I'll make this available this week. It will be, won't be 1 second. Should be 1.2, is it 1.23? Yeah, 1.23. So that will go out, realistically, it'll probably be Friday. But that you will want to apply the latest class, recompile your solution, and you will actually see new fields, additional fields being populated for you. There's a couple of other things in there as well in the Chilkat. We'll just quickly jump to it. So 1.23, as we mentioned, pagination has now been applied on all the QuickBooks queries. I think there's a new count, unless it was in the previous one. There's a new count method, which is pretty good. Like I say, count. So really, what you can do, instead of doing the full query to say, tell me how many vendors I have in QuickBooks, and bringing it all down as a queue, what you can do is just issue the count command and against the vendors, and it will just tell you how many vendors are up in QuickBooks, that kind of thing. So you've got that kind of functionality. These are the new. Oh, that's supposed to be. Sorry, that's supposed to say QuickBooks vendor attributes. Might as well fix it while I'm here. Yeah, the MinorVersion, the vendor new attributes, the QuickBooks customer attributes, and the count. And there was an issue with the delete action on the QuickBooks. So as you can see, this build heavily based on an update to the QuickBooks interface. So if anyone's using that, definitely you want to get the new version when it's available. Okie dokie. So just trying to think. One of the questions we got asked, I'm just having a look here, we've got a question off Alejandro, and we'll go to that in a second. But one question I got asked was regarding the calendar. So Oh, we've got a hand up as well. Sorry, I didn't see that. Right, okay. What I want to quickly just cover, I'll be 2 seconds on this, is just let me set myself to the latest build. Right, and that calendar. Okie dokie. So, had a user email some questions this last week, and it's really relating to the loading of the calendar. Now, they were on an older version. One thing you can do, it shouldn't break any of your older versions. I mean, the calendar update's been out for a while now, actually, quite a few months. Any old code you had in there would still go into their relevant places and would still be perfectly fine, unless you're on a really, really old version like version 1 point odd. That's how we're talking years and years old. So previously, from the loading of the calendar, you would have had something along the lines of, won't be a second, just waiting for this to play catch up. Okay, so you would have had manual loading of the calendar, and you would have had the embed points. Now, if we just take a look here, go to the calendar, okie dokie, and we do have this data underscore fetch record, insert record. This is where we used to put our particular data and so on for not just loading, but also being able to update a particular record, that kind of thing. So you would have had your file IO in these embed points. Now, some of them, and I think is it that one, show legacy? I can't remember actually. Let's just check. We'll stick one of these, the data. Okay, so there, the old code, the old embed points would have placed themselves here in the obsolete. It's marked as obsolete, but they are perfectly fine for your old code. Nothing will be lost, and it will actually still work in the correct place. It's just going forward, there is a slightly better place to put it, e.g., after the parent code, after the parent call of that particular method. So there were some changes in the probably within the last 3-6 months along those lines. So basically, for the calendar, if you're watching this and you're upgrading, perfectly fine. Your code would go automatically in that embed point because that's the old way of doing it, and it would still work fine, be called in the correct place, executed in the right place, so on and so forth. Going forward, what you really would want to do is say move it from out of this obsolete and move it to the parent call. So something like so. So move it out of that and move it to there, if you're still doing the manual loading. If you're not doing the manual loading and you want the calendar to do the loading for you, then you would go to the data source tab. Just waiting for this, it's a very slow connection. Go to the data source tab, change the source to view/file, and basically fill in what table you're getting your data from, which key, and there's some tips regarding the key structures that we recommend you have. The events table or the appointment or whatever basically table you use to populate the calendar, that's entirely up to you. But we do give you a couple of tips on the loading of that. But yes, what you would do is fill all this in, and then any join tables, hot fields, so on and so forth, and also then the actual relevant fields. So what do you consider your record ID? What do you consider your schedule ID, the start date, and so on and so forth. There are buttons here. You can see apply example defaults, and if you're using basically the dictionary, the table that comes with our example, then which of course you're welcome to do, then it will actually fill that in for you automatically. But you might not be using your own, so you would fill these in manually to something that matches your particular table definitions. So I would say if you're going to switch, you would want to use the view/file loading, set all these accordingly. And then there is one more which I would recommend you do, and you're going to need to go to the related record tab. Again, tell it which table the data is coming from. This is independent of the file loading, you see, so that's why it's on. You're going to specify the same table twice. You don't necessarily have to use the view/file loading. You can still use manual loading and have the related record functionality. So when you click on an event, the calendar can go off and actually find the record for you automatically, that kind of thing. So you say what your table is, what your key is, and what the elements of that key is. So we can see like the element of that key is, there's a field, and that's the actual event property, if you will. So we want the record ID of the active event. All in the example application, but there's just a couple of tips. If you're upgrading from an older version of the calendar and you're going to the new one, and you want to make future-proof yourself, to use the view/file loading, that's what I would recommend. Take a look at the related record tab and the data source tab. But as I say, they're all documented in your example application. And once, if you did switch to that, then all the embed code you would have had, which we just mentioned about the obsoletes, the data load, so the data load, the data fetch record, and delete records, so on and so forth, all of those can be removed because you don't need them anymore. The template will take care of that for you. Okay, right. I'm going to go to Chuyan. Got his hand up. Hopefully you're there. The microphone is open.
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing good. So I have some issues on the DockingPane. So hopefully you can get some answer from you. So well, we have I think Alan showed you how our product working. I mean, with there are two. Is main, then there's a main host. Main is a frame. So then main host is a window. Then there's some DockingPane tabs. So should pane windows be an MDI or not?
Can we see your screen and then you can actually explain a little further? Is that
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me share. How to get share?
Okay. Should get an option on the screen.
Yeah. I click that share. So can you see this?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Those are pins, right? DockingPanes.
Yes.
Are those must be MDI, or it looks like shouldn't currently?
If you're using a Clarion procedure as the piece of content, then that Clarion procedure must be an MDI because it has to be started.
Well, we don't. When we create in a window definition, Clarion window, there's no MDI specified for those, right? So the DockingPane will set that MDI before.
No. Well, no. Basically on yours here, so you've got this document assembly. Is that I take it that's a Clarion window with a couple of buttons on there, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this that's
yep. Yep. So that Clarion, Yeah, that clarion procedure should really be an MDI procedure.
Should be MDI.
Yes.
You can see there's no MDI set for this window. So must be MDI. You mean otherwise?
Just checking on mine, but yes, I think that is the case.
We asking this other questions. We ask this question because we got some problems when we have when we open other non-DockingPane window. Sometimes that behind the DockingPane, so we don't know.
Right. Just looking now. Won't be 1 second. Just quickly checking mine. Simple example. Can't see. Can't see the settings. Where are we? Yeah, MDI. Yeah, I believe they should be MDI.
Oh, okay. So this the one we call main host is not frame. This one is application, APP frame. That one actually we don't set MDI. I think when we set I think that one is MDI. Yeah, must be. Yeah.
Yeah, so we take on the it makes it look like it's SDI, but truly it's MDI, and we're handling the switching of the active window, the target, if you will.
Okay. So there's okay. So should be the main host. Yeah, that one. So that one, you know how it works. So this, because this first start, then it start this main host.
Yes.
So yeah, as you can see, I think main host is the child of the main.
Yes.
So that must be a MDI, right?
Yeah. That should be MDI, but its children should also be MDI.
Okay. Okay, then so then the other question, should main be a frame or regular window?
No, after the main as a frame.
Huh?
Your main, not the docking host, just the actual main application frame. That should still be an application frame.
The docking host is this main host. The template is on this. You see this. So if this one is this one is not, huh?
Just go on to that one for me, please. Just go on to the window definition.
Oh, window. If this one is not MDI, then
no, that wants to be. It's just I thought you had it as a frame. If your category when you had it as a frame, I thought you had that as an application frame as well, but you haven't. It's just a window, so that's fine.
No, this is a window, but it's a frame, but it's not APP frame. It's not like this one. This one is you can see it's it's
yeah, if you went on to that, it would say application. Yeah, that's fine. But your one's just a window. That's why I was just checking. But no, basically, you want that one to still be the application, so an app frame, perfect. You want your host window to be a normal window, but an MDI, but a window, and then you want any windows that you open via the docking panes to be MDI windows as well.
Okay. So then now for the non-pane windows, because we can, the user will open other like the window they can like this window. So is there a way to whenever you define pane docking pane, you have to go to your frame pane docking pane frame to add the pane. So if we don't do that, just some way to set the window as a pane, as a docking pane, is it possible?
Sorry, just repeat that. I didn't quite follow. So this is a window, just not called from a docking pane, just called from the main ribbon.
Yeah, from a command bar, there are click button. Yeah.
Yep.
Then we open.
And what do you want to? Because that's just open. So what do you want to happen there?
So for our windows, because sometimes we have some situation that the window is just behind the pane, so the user can't find the window. So we were thinking if we set all the windows as a docking pane, but we don't want to go through the main the main host to add panes, to go to here, it's not this one. No, this is this is the main host. So here, so if you want to add panes, you need to go to all here. Too many panes.
So just run the application. Go back to the application. Okay, now close that window for me, please. Now let's reopen that one, recent assembled. So you press that, and where would you want that to be? Where do you want it to be docked? Where do you want it to be docked?
Well, when the dock is just like other right here, then in the middle of when it So just here, like other,
Well, you could define just one pane, okay. So currently you've got one pane for each one of these. So like document assembly, as you've got there, and accounting. And I take it you've got a pane for each of those currently.
So what you are seeing is define a pane so that I can open any of.
Yeah. So what about defining just one? I don't even know what we would call it, but you call it another pane. Call it other, something like that. So you would have a pane. It would be docked in the center, just like your document assembly and your accounting and so on. So you could have a pane there, but you don't assign it any content. And then when you open that from the command bar, you could start that procedure and manually set the handle of the pane to the to the window that you've just opened.
Okay. Okay. Have you an example that works?
No, sorry. I'm just trying to think. The thing you would have to watch there is the closing, because let's say you've got just one pane. Just close that window for me, the recently assembled. Okay, so let's say you have another pane, and you don't give it a name. You just I suppose you would have to give it a name. Okay, but we've just got, you don't want to define loads of panes is your problem. So you just want one pane, and we're gonna change its attributes at runtime, which you can do. So if we define that, and let's call it the pane is called Other. Then you could change the name of it to what's just been opened, recently assembled. You could change the handle of it to the handle of the recently assembled. You're going to be doing a bit of work on this, so I'll be honest. So you could do that, and then you could dock it, so it would basically put itself in. Oh, crikey! No, you're going to have to. No, actually, you're going to have to do a couple of things. You're going to have to set the piece of content for that pane for Other. You're going to set its name, and you're going to set the piece of content to the name of the procedure you're about to open. So then you go and open the procedure, it knows to wait for it, and it will dock it accordingly. So that works. The problem comes is you've now got this other pane called opened, and it's recently assembled. You then go and press another button, maybe create form sets, and you open that, and you want that to take the place of that same pane. So what you're going to do there is you're going to have that's not going to work for you, because then you're going to repeat all them same steps. You're going to have that pane on show, which is great, but the recently assembled is still running but not visually on show, and it's not assigned to any pane, and you're going to struggle to get back to it to be able to close it, which means it's going to be left in limbo, so to speak, and you don't want that. You're going to be taking up resources and so on. So I wouldn't recommend you necessarily do that. What about just adding a pane on the fly? So if you click recently assembled, create a pane, make it part of the collection like the center ones are, like document assembly and accounting and billing. Make it part of that collection. Set all its properties in advance, and then call the. So you could do that in the embed point before the execute of that command bar button. So you add the pane, it goes off and shows all of the actual content and opens, and that pane would then appear tabbed like you've got there. And if you closed it, it would then go and close the actual running procedure. So it kind of works for you. And then if you did have recently assembled opened and you opened, let's say, create form sets, then you'd have two more tabs there, enabling the user to be able to go from one to the other. So that's how I would do it. I would allow them to create the panes on the fly.
Okay, so create. We never tried that create pane on the fly, so it's okay.
Yeah. The code is going to be something like. Let me just bring it back here. Sorry, I'm just on the laptop and can't find the controls for the meeting, everyone. Sorry about this. I'm trying to. Can you see my screen?
Let me see. Where is the?
No, it's okay.
Can't get that back. Yeah. Where's that? Maybe still share mine.
It's okay. I'm going to try and bring it back here. So I just realised what's going on. Won't be a second. Yep, going to bring it back to myself. Here we go.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah. Let me see.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
About that.
Okay.
So, won't necessarily do it now, but what you would want, if we take a look at one of these, the example.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, Oh, this connection is terrible.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong procedure. Yep, wrong procedure. So let's just focus on one pane and have a look at how it's currently defined. So pane browse looks good. Researching the source code.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see there's a command. Now this is in create panes. You can still do it under condition. You can still add your own pane at a later date. That's no problem. So you would want something like add pane, give it an ID, a nice name, same dimensions as you've got as your other your other panes in that center area. Let's just see if we can see them parameters. Won't be 1 second. The dock direction, the neighboring ID, does it have an icon? Is it attached? The usual things. All of these are part of the class. Don't you should have, if you've got the latest one, you should have the PDF of the class methods. If you haven't, I can send you that. So you would do add pane. Then there should be some setting of the properties. So got tab pane caption. I'm not really bothered about that. It's more this stuff I'm after. So you would want to set the pane collection. You would want that because you're using collections in yours. You could set the lazy open.
Oh, okay.
There we go. That's a biggie. So you would want add the pane, set pane collection, set pane child lazy open, set pane content. You want the pane. You want it to be a Clarion procedure, and you want the name of the procedure that you're going to open. So before you open your, was it recent assembled, something like that, then you would add a pane and call it, recent assembled, call it, add the pane. As I say, set the collection, set the lazy open, set the content. Add child window, you'd want to do that as well. What that's doing is it's telling it that window underscore browse, which is the name of the procedure, yours would be whatever your procedure name is going to be a child of this of this procedure, if you will, of this pane. So and then you could basically do that, start your procedure, and it will automatically dock itself into that center area. So you just want those lines before the new selection or the execute of the command bar.
Okay.
So add pane, set pane collection, set pane child lazy open, set pane content, and add child window. Let me just grab those for you, something like that. This connection is rubbish, and I've just had broadband installed here in France, and the connection is terrible. Okay, so you're going to have it'd be DockingPane, obviously, so it'd be something like DockingPane. Oh, add pane, and whatever the parameters are for that. So yours is maybe recent assembly, and you're going to give it a name. I'm not sure that's the correct parameter number, but you get the idea, something like that. Blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to do, oh, you could give it a caption. Yeah, you actually, that's probably not a bad idea.
Okay.
So you're just going to see something like this.
So for all the non-DockingPane window, when we started, we do the similar thing, right? That's what.
So yeah, proc name here, because that would be your proc name. So you would put the same one there. Whatever your procedure name is. But basically, that's what so you want something like this. Add the pane. You could give it a caption,
Yeah.
It's like so. Forget your icon, unless you are. I don't think you're using icons in there, so you wouldn't necessarily need that. Could do though. You could tie the icon in with the command bar icon, so it actually, so it relates to it directly. So you could do. Give it a collection. Set the lazy open. So that collection would have something in there. So set pane collection would be something like your, I don't know what you call it, could be work or something like that. Lazy open would be by default true. Set the pane content, something like so. Don't worry so much about the pane options, but you can look that up if you needed to afterwards. And add child window. You do all that, and then all that before the command bar is executing its code, because the command bar will come along and do something like start name here. So start on a new thread, and by doing that, the DockingPane will be waiting for it because it knows that it's going to be running a Clarion procedure. It's going to have a procedure name of whatever,
Right.
like
we're doing this. Yeah. We're doing this exactly same as what you have now. So for the other DockingPane, you see our application, those other tabs, pane tabs. When they click, there's buttons reflecting those pane tabs. So when they click, actually we do call start. Yeah.
Right. So so that was the approach we could I would use personally, and then that way nothing would be lost.
Well, this will also because when you add this, I will add a pane.
Yes.
Right. Even it's lazy open, but it's still there's a pane in the screen.
Yeah, you'll add the pane.
Right, on the screen.
Yeah. So you'll add the pane.
But if you have more, if we have lots of those windows, well, you don't know if they clicked or not, but you create those many. Yeah, that's.
Well, I would only do that. I would only do that code just before you actually go and do the start command. So what you're doing there is you're telling the DockingPane to prepare for a window about to be opened, and you're telling the DockingPane, basically watch for it, because as soon as it opens, the DockingPane knows to it wants it as a piece of content. It will grab it, and it will once it's open, grab its handle and dock it into the correct pane. The new pane just been created.
So that is, yeah. So that means this code right now we are seeing that the code when they click the button, then run this to create the pane on the fly.
You want that before the button press. So
before button.
yeah, you want that before, because what it's going to do is that let's say the procedure is called, we'll give it a name. We'll just give it a dummy one there, but we'll give it so we've got a procedure. It's going to be called browse recent assembly. Okay, there you go. Right. Okay, so you've currently got something like that via the command bar now. Start, name of procedure, size, stack size. Okay, by doing this beforehand, when that opens, it's going to, if it's got the DockingPane window, content handler on it, and it's been set, I can be used as a piece of DockingPane, that kind of thing, a piece of content for the DockingPane, then what it does is, as it opens, it has a look at a global window manager to see if anything is waiting for it. And if it is, it makes its presence known to the DockingPane of that host window and says, I'm here, here's my handle. That then grabs hold of it and puts it into the pane. Okay, so that's why we need to prepare the pane beforehand. So we're going to add a brand new pane. We're going to set it caption and collection, that's fine, so on and so forth. The main bulk of it here is here. We're going to say, we're going to set the pane content, and it's not going to be that. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. So we're going to add a pane. We're going to set its caption into collection. We're going to turn on the lazy open. Okay. We're going to set the piece of content to say, we're going to wait. This pane is waiting for a Clarion procedure. And the procedure name it's waiting for is browse recent as. Then we add a child window to this. Okay. Not sure, do we need that? Question mark on that one. Question mark on that. But basically, put it in there just to be on the safe side to start with. So you do all that. All that does at the moment is you would have a blank pane. Without the start command, you would just have a blank pane. And the start then comes along and everything I said a second ago, so it opens, it says, is anything waiting for me? Well, it will be because we've just primed it up ready. So it says, okay, I am here, my handle is whatever the handle number is. The DockingPane of that host window then kicks in and says, right, grab that handle, assign it to this pane, which is recent as, and hey presto, that window will then be docked inside of that new pane.
Okay, so when the user clicks a button again, they won't start the second instance. It will bring that.
Yes, it would. Yes, what you'd want to do all of that then. Oh, yes, what you'd want to do.
Right.
Is have all of that inside of a condition. All right, 1 second. What you'd want to do there then. Okay, so there's going to be oh, I use it myself. This I'm trying to think of its name. I think it's get pane. Oh, that's get pane. Child thread number.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so I would do something along the lines of. Oh, not there. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
This connection is terrible. Just 1 second. So we're going to say, we're going to spell it right. 1 second. Get the thread number of a child pane, and the pane is called recent path. Now, if that's greater than 0, that means it's already running on that frame on that pane. So instead, what you would do is you select the pane with a true to bring it into focus. Else, if it hasn't got it, then you would want to do that. Something like that.
Yeah,
So we're going to get the child thread number for recent assembly. If it has got one, so we know a thread is running on that pane, then we can just go and select that pane. So that will just in case, because they're all docked together and so on. You might be off on a different pane. What that will do is it will force that pane to come back into view.
Okay.
Else, we're going to add the pane, set its properties, and start the content. That should be what you're after.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds looks good. So
no problem. See what I'll do. I will quickly. Do you want me to email that or Skype it to you, or? I can Skype or email it to you after this. That's no problem.
Okay, thank you. I'll find you then connect. So okay. So because sometimes we got some window if it's not DockingPane as then they will put somehow it will behind the pane, and there's because there is no window menu, like user can find that window, so we can't get that back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think. You got is the command bar on the application frame?
Yeah, right. Yeah, command bar on the not application frame on the child called main host.
It's on there. That's okay. Okay then. Yeah. That's fine. If it was on the application frame, the command bar does include a function to do that for you. But yeah, that's
Okay.
That's fine.
You mean command bar has some feature to
the command bar? If it's on
switch.
Yeah, the command bar does have basically a way of tracking which MDI windows are open, but only if it's on the application frame.
Oh, okay, only on the application frame. Okay, but our command bar is not on the application frame.
No. So, well, try this approach, and then let's check in next time to see how you've got on. How's that sound?
Okay, good. Thank you.
No problem. Right, we are gonna way over on time for what I wanted, only because I am I was going to try and aim for about the 1 hour mark, but Alejandro has got a question regarding the suite controls. So let's open Alejandro's mic. Hi, Alejandro. How are you doing?
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Yes, good. You?
Very well, thanks. Very well. And you? How are you?
Now you got to promise not to be too long, because I am still technically on vacation. I'm here and I'm doing the webinar, but I'm still on vacation. So you got to promise not to be too long, or Wendy will shout at you.
Okay, I will appreciate. Two things. I want to show you something, and I want that you can open the suite control example, please.
Oh, can I get to that on here? Yeah, 1 second.
Yes.
We've not looked at the suite controls for a while, so.
Are you still in Noyantis?
I'm still in France. Yes, we return back to the UK in 2 or 3 days.
Good.
But then we'll have to go into quarantine in the UK because the UK
Yes.
have put new rules in place.
But you go in quarantine in your home or in a hotel?
Oh, in my home. No, I'll
because
go
here
home.
Okay. No, here in Argentina, if you come from other country or if you come from another location, province, you must to go an hotel and you have to pay for it.
Wow.
Yes, you need to be 7 days. And the first day they made the test. You have to wait 7 days more, and you have to be there for 7 days.
Right.
7 or 10 days, something like that.
No, we have to. We can go to our home, but we have to go into quarantine for 14 days. So that's fine. I'll make sure I get somebody to go to the office and get my main development PC and bring it home for me, and then I'll be fine.
Yes. Good. Okay, go please to the first tab, control.
I'm just going to compile just to make sure, because I'm not sure what version this is using. So we shall take a quick look. Wendy's just come in telling me it's 6 o'clock here and I'm supposed to be going out. So, right, tab controls. And just want to see, we've got one window control. That's so it's not. That's fine.
Yes, in the third, please.
Yeah. No, I'm just getting the correct version. Won't be 1 second.
Oh.
Okay, so the third one, you say?
Yes.
The sheet enhancer.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Everything there is fine. I can see your screen yet. So can you please add now in this procedure a group into the tab, a group with some entry control, please?
Okay, so I'll put it onto. I'm just having a look at which tabs, but okay. Okay, got one called entry controls. So you want a group with an entry on it?
Yes, please.
Well, that's got a group on it already. Can I just move an entry into that? Is that okay?
But it's not this window, it's the other one.
This is the sheet enhancer we had a second ago, is it not? Is it not? Let me have a look. Sheet enhancer to Clarion sheet. I'll check. I thought it might have been that one. Hang on a second, what's going on here? Something's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If you see radio value 1, value 2,
Yeah, radio
value
1,
3,
yeah.
Yes, everything is broke, and if you put something, it's broke everything.
Right. I have an idea on that. There was a change to do with there was a method in our common class for calculating child controls, and there was a change about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago, where I changed it for the HTML editor. I wonder if that has affected this. Right, no problem. I will look at that, because obviously it used to work. It was fine. I think that is related to a change I did to define. It's in the common class.
Okay.
I won't do the fix now because I have to check. But yes, it was in here. NIS common, which would affect the suite controls. Yeah, find child controls. I think it's the change to that. I can check that tomorrow for you, because that calculates what belongs to what, and then basically I use that to do the enhancing. So that is a recent change, probably 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago. So that might be the problem. So okay, yeah, no problem. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Can you share my screen, please? I want to show you something.
Yep, sure. Where are we? Let's have a look. Yep, okay.
Let me know when you see my screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we have here the report control. Okay. And I will load. If you see, it's loading. Okay. And I have this report control. And it's load 10,000 records now. Okay.
Okay.
So, and actually, because we are making a streaming, is the double of the time that it's delayed. If you see, I am doing this using a thread, okay? Sometimes it's broke, but this is something that I have to solve. And if you see your code, I only add the report control address.
Yep.
And the only thing is here, start test load. Okay.
Yes.
So, and here I did. Okay. This is the workaround. Did you remember when I showed it?
Yes. Yeah. Before? It wasn't. I was wondering.
I create a
target. Yeah.
Yes, I create a dummy window. So that's all. I open it and close it, and it works fine. Yes. So I create a local data, a load data procedure where I use basically this code, loop 10,000 record, and this is all the code. Okay. So add item.
So yes, there you are loading. You're starting it. So you basically you're giving the user some data to look at immediately, but then continuing to load in the background.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, very nice.
But this really make a very big difference because the experience for the user is very awesome, because they never get the loading, and every system is stopped, okay, until the report control load all the data. So every time that you make open it, okay, you have absolutely control. And if you create the group, okay, so you can, while it's loading, you can drag the group. Look.
Yeah, that gives me ideas. That gives me a lot of ideas.
Yes, and I did the same. I want to show you. I did the same with the Calendar Pro, and really is a very big difference because it's loading in the background, okay? And the experience for the user, the same, is immediately control of everything, okay? So let me go here. And I did a little bit code. Let me show you.
But on the calendar, wouldn't you want to, the calendar's a little bit different, because on the calendar you only want to load the minimum amount of data.
Yes, but in some case, because in my case, I need to load many different tables, because in the calendar, I just don't put the event. I put event, I put other things, okay? So I need to loop about many tables. So if I have to do this before to load the Calendar Pro, it's really a lot of time, okay? I will show you in a few seconds. So I did this thing. Let me show you this one. What I did. First, I load the first 20 record until 60 record, okay? And I populate, okay? So for the user can show the first 60 record.
Yep.
That's okay? So after that, I populate by 100 record. Okay? So okay. I load 100 and recent I populate. And after that, at the end of the load, I populate the rest, because maybe you have a 90, okay, and its sentence, of course, never execute. So it's load the rest of the record. So another thing is, if I receive here, you can see, If you want, I can give you this example, no problem.
No, it's okay.
The-
I'm wondering how to template this, how to add it to the template.
Yes.
This is a really good idea. Thank you for sharing. This is very good.
No, it's okay. So here I control the thread. Why? Because if you close, let me show you. If you close, you open it, and if loading, and if you close it, okay, what's happened? The report control doesn't exist, and the procedure in background try to write something on the class.
You would get a GPS. It's a null.
Yes, exactly. So what I did is, if I receive a signal, just one, I say, okay, they want to terminate the thread, okay, and I break. So in the main procedure, this one, let me show you. I put in the event close window. If I want to close, I check. I make an start, okay, and I say in this variable the thread, okay. So after that, I say, okay, if you want to close the window, and if the thread is greater than 1, this means that I have opened it and thread, a new thread, okay? So if the log thread active, and I have the log thread like a parameter in the array, is 0, that means the thread is working.
Yes.
Okay. So I send a signal to say, hey, terminate. Okay. So I enter in a loop and I say, okay, until the thread active is equal to, okay, wait, and after that, break and continue the close window. Okay. Just a workaround to prevent crash.
Yes, of course. I'm going to run with that idea. I'm going to give it some thought. I like that idea a lot, and I could use that in some of my applications. So I wonder if we could maybe get the template to write the other procedures for you. So you have file load. Maybe we introduce a new file load via thread, or some kind of other setting where it knows to write basically a second procedure for you. Let me think. I think that's doable.
Yes, I will show you something. Maybe it's give to you some idea. I did in my template, okay, that, and I say, okay, what I want to use. I want to use a start procedure, yes or no. If I want to use a start procedure, okay, I call a procedure by default, or if I want, I can call a specific procedure for load data for this procedure. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yep.
So, and I have a common procedure because it's work for every other procedure. Okay, I have my own code. Okay.
Yeah.
So
see what's being. Yeah.
Yes, and really, let me show you. This is a very big difference between. Look, it's loading, okay, and I have 20,000 records here, okay, and it's still loading.
Nice.
But the experience, yes, but the experience for the user is really, look, okay. It's different because you have control. You have full control about it.
Okay. Okay, I like the idea. Right, I must sign off. Oh, quickly go on then, because I need to sign off because we do need to go somewhere. So, but yes.
Okay. Okay, that's all that I want to show you.
Oh no, it's good. It's really good, really good. I like the idea, and I do wonder if we could get the template to write the actual second load procedure for you automatically. That's what I'd like to do.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's and it's And if you see something very simple, I did the data binding code or something, and it's worked fine, really fine and fast. If you uncomment this one, for example, it's changed to the double time.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Yes, using this way.
Well, we were doing tests, if you remember, not last week, the week before, we were doing tests on that, and we are going to put that back in. We used to do that, but there was a reason why we stopped, because you have to take other template settings into account. For yours, it might be okay, but we have to allow for all of the templates to, all the settings to work. So I need to check that with the others.
Yes, let me show you one thing more, or one more thing. Sorry, let me show you. So, let me see here. Maybe I changed something as I was working.
Oh, no problem. We all have problems like that.
Yes, okay, don't worry.
Okay.
So this is the way. Do you want the example?
I can't now, genuinely. I do have to, we have to wrap up for today, but we will return to this, definitely.
No. If you want my example, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I get the principle.
Okay.
I get the principle, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice. I just want to try and think how I can get, still keep the template settings, but instead of the template give you an option. So we've got both options: load it as it does now, or load it via a procedure. And if it's loading via a procedure, I want the template to actually write the procedure for you. So so that would be the best of both worlds. So that's what I'm gonna look at. I do like that idea, and I know I could use it. And many others can. And I know John's got a problem with loading the 26,000 records. This would give us a workaround. So yeah, that's really good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Really good. We will return to that in a couple of weeks. There is no webinar next week because it's a public holiday in the UK. Even though I'm in quarantine, there is no webinar next week. I'm going to use the time to catch up on some, but the week after we will return to this definitely.
Okay, please don't forget my things. Please,
no.
Please.
Well, I'm back in the UK from Friday onwards, so feel free, send me a message. Next week we'll connect up. Just me and you can connect up. I'll be back. I'll be at home. Can't go anywhere, and we can take a look at some stuff. No problem.
Perfect. I will send you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Until 2 weeks time. Okay. Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.